now in this discussion we are going to discuss about the animal kingdom. In this animal kingdom, first we will discuss about we will start our discussion with the protozoa, because the proto means first, zoa means animals. The first eukaryotic organisms origin on this earth from the bacteria 2.5 billion years ago or 3 billion years ago. Approximately that was the period, 2.5 to 3 billion years ago. These protozoans were origin from the bacteria. In zoology, in the animal kingdom, we are going to discuss about the different phyla present in them. Actually, these there are 40 to 45 animal phyla are there nowadays, but only 11 to 12 phyla which are mentioned here are called as the major phyla. Mainly the animal study is focused on this 11 to 12 phyla only. That's why we are also going to discuss about these 12 phyla of the animal kingdom. In this animal phyla, what we are going to understand is only one thing, is we have to understand the evolutionary development of different animals. Here we are starting our discussion with the protozoa. Next we can go to the porifera. That is means from these protozoans, poriferans were evolved. From the poriferans, the cnidarians were evolved. From these animals, next platyhelminthes were evolved, next nematoda evolved, next annelida, arthropoda and mollusca, echinodermata. This is the evolutionary development of animals. Then we have to understand that. Then how can we understand them? Because we have to study them in deep. We have to discuss about the general characters, we have to discuss about the special characters, and also we discuss about the classification of animals according to their developmental process. Then we can understand them very easily. The discussion may be prolonged, but it is very easy to learn about the non-chordates and the chordates, or invertebrates and vertebrates. Here, before discussing about this, in these 12 phyla, we have to remember the animals first. In each phyla, one or two or three animals or four animals we have to remember first. If you remember the animal, we can discuss about the general characters and special characters and special adaptations very easily. For example, this annelida is there. In this annelida, what we have to remember? You have to remember the leech or earthworm or nereis. If you remember that animals, then our discussion will become very easy. We can discuss the general characters. Where do they live? What do they eat? How do they circulate the excretory material or food material or whatever it may be present in the body? How do they excrete? How do they reproduce? These all are depending upon how you can remember that particular animal. For example, in this protozoan, you have to remember this amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and verticella. If you remember them, then your discussion will become very easy. Either it may be classification or special adaptations or the general characters. How do the amoeba take the food material? How do they circulate? How do they excrete the material? How do they regulate the osmotic balance? How do they achieve the homeostasis? So now our discussion is starting with the protozoa, because the animal study is started. The zoology or animal phyla study is started with the protozoa, because these are the first animals. Proto means first, zoa means animals. Here in this protozoa, we have to remember that amoeba, paramecium, euglena and verticella. These four animals you have to remember. Not only these four animals, you have to remember this entamoeba, which causes dysentery, entamoebiasis also. Because in this protozoan, some are free living animals, some are parasites are also there. So not only this entamoeba, this is the plasmodium which causes the malarial disease, a dreadful disease. Some of them are parasites, some of them are free living animals are there. These 6 animals you have to remember first. These are microscopic animals. Those are first eukaryotic organisms, because they are the particular nucleus is present in the body. The nuclear membrane surrounds the nucleus. The chromosomes or the DNA or genetic material or chromatin is protected by the particular nuclear membrane. These are called the eukaryotic organisms. But these ancestors of these protozoans called the bacteria, those are prokaryotes. there is no particular nucleus in their body. The genetic material is varied and freely floats in the cytoplasm. The nuclear membrane, the genetic material is not protected by the nuclear membrane in those bacteria. But now, luckily, in the animals, the nucleus is developed. The nucleus protects the genetic material or chromosomes in their body. These are unicellular organisms, single-celled organisms. And where do these protozoans live? These protozoans can live in almost all types of environments. They can live in marine water, fresh water, the brackish water, even though they can live in the hot springs also. Some of them are parasites. They can live in the host body. Then what type of nutrition and what type of digestion we can find in these protozoans? These protozoans are diverse in the nutrition. These are animals. They take the food material from the plants directly or indirectly. In this heterotrophic nutrition, we can find phagocytic nutrition, number one is, and mixotrophic nutrition, two types of nutrition mechanisms present in the, and the parasitic nutrition, they can depend on other animals. They can live in other animals. They can steal the digested food material. The phagocytic nutrition, for example, we are also phagocytic nutrition. The phagocytic nutrition means we have to, means whatever it may be the animal. The animal should take the complex food material from outside. They have to digest the food material with the help of enzymatic reactions called the amylases, proteases, lipases. Then the digested food material should be sent to all cells of the body that can be utilized. That is called the phagocytic nutrition. Most of the protozoans are free-living animals. They can follow this phagocytic nutrition in the food vacuole. They can digest the food material with the help of lysosomal enzymes. Mixotrophic nutrition. However, for example, Euglena and Chlamydomonas are following this mixotrophic nutrition. Those are animals. They can take the food material from outside. That is the complex food material that can be digested in the food vacuole or phagosome with the help of lysosomal enzymes. But they can synthesize the food with the help of chlorophyll molecules present in their chromatophores by the photosynthesis process. So, only few animals, very few animals in the protozoans can prepare the food by the photosynthesis process. But that is not completed process. But however, they can take the food material from outside. Only few of them. This is fascinating thing. Actually, these Euglena and Chlamydomonas are indicating that they are living fossils. They are linking animals. They link the plants and animals. Plants and animals both were evolved from the same type of ancestors. These Euglena and Chlamydomonas are indicating that that fascinating thing. And parasitic nutrition, third one is, in protozoans, some of them are parasites, are there entamoeba, histolytica, trypanosoma gambiense, and the plasmodium species. These can live in the host body. They can damage the tissues. They can cause diseases. They can take the digested food material called the glucose, amino acids, and glycerols and fatty acids. Digestion, what type of digestion takes place in these animals, protozoans? Actually, if they are free-living animals, they can take the food material, complex food material that can be digested in the phagosome or the food vacuole with the help of digestive enzymes released by the lysosomes. If they are parasite, there is no particular digestive system in them. Excretion. Excretory system and excretion is the process. Excretory system is developed in animals to maintain the osmotic balance or water balance in the body and to excrete the nitrogenous waste material from outside the body to from inside the body to outside. So what is this osmotic regulation? Means maintaining the salt balance and the ionic balance in the body. Means our body, not only human's body, in all animal body, the ions and salt should be present in optimal amount what we require. If they are present in excess amount of salts and ions in the body, they can create some pH problems and pressure problems or some other problems in the body. So those should be excreted out. For example, more sugar is present in our blood, that can create hyperglycemia. That is the sugar disease, normally we say. Those salts should be excreted out. If more salt is present, that can create another problem. If more ions are present in our body, more salts are present in our body, they can create number of problems. They can interfere in the body functions. That's why they have to remove outside. So that is called the osmotic regulation. If more amount of water is present in our body, that may increase the blood pressure normally. Not only in the humans or higher order animals, in all the animals, the excretory system is developed to maintain the osmotic regulation and the water balance, and the second function is to excrete the nitrogenous waste material called the ammonia, urea, uric acid, guanine, or whatever it may be. Then respiration. There are no particular respiratory organs in those organisms. By the simple diffusion process, the respiratory gases are exchanged, the oxygen and carbon dioxide. If the oxygen concentration is very high outside, the oxygen is diffused into the body of protozoan. The carbon dioxide is high concentration in the cytoplasm of protozoan, that can be diffused out. Locomotory organs, those are different types of locomotory organs we found in the protozoans. For example, this amoeba called the false feet called the pseudopodia, and cilia are the locomotory organs in the ciliates called the paramecium. And though there is no locomotory organs in these animals, for example, this verticella, those are sedentary animals. Flagella are the locomotory organs present in euglena like animals. So the special thing in the protozoans are different types of locomotory organs in protozoans. And another important thing is the reproduction. This reproduction is normal. Those are lower order animals. They can reproduce by the asexual reproduction, because those ancestors of these protozoans, bacteria, were followed the sexual reproduction. However, in some of the bacteria, the sexual reproduction is also take place, but most of the bacteria are asexually reproduced. Likewise, these protozoans, first animals, also reproduce by the asexual reproduction, by the binary fission. This is amoeba, for example, the nucleus is dividing into two by the binary fission, and the cytoplasm is also dividing into two. Not only this amoeba, almost all the animals can reproduce asexually, but some animals, this one, paramecium, and the cilia, this one, the verticella, can reproduce bisexually through the conjugation process also. This conjugation, for example, this is the paramecium. In this paramecium, the conjugation is exchanging the genetic material in between the two participants. Then after this, special or unique characters in the protozoa. The pellicle, the outer membrane, is present in some of the ciliates, which can protect the organism from external harsh conditions. Contractile vacuole is mainly meant for the regulation of osmotic balance in the body, and also to excrete the nitrogenous waste material. Dimorphic nuclei. The two nuclei are present in some of the animals. For example, this is the paramecium. In this paramecium, large nucleus and the small nucleus is also present. Large nucleus maintain the body functions, and the small nucleus involved in the sexual reproduction. So that is a dimorphic nuclei. Mixotrophic nutrition means they can take the food material from outside, and they can prepare the food by the photosynthesis process. For example, euglena and the Chlamydomonas. Formation of spores. Spores and cysts, mainly we can find them in parasites, especially in the entamoeba histolytica. They can prepare the cysts and spores during the harsh environmental conditions. Undular membrane, for example, Trypanosoma gambiense, we can find this undular membrane which is flexible that can provide the flexible movement to the organisms. This is about the unique and special characters of protozoans. In the next class, we will discuss about the different locomotory organs in the protozoans.